A man named Chen Jiucai had been missing for more than 3 months. He was last seen on the 30th of March 2015. On the 31st of March, there were still call records on Chen Jiucai's mobile phone, yet no one had seen him since then. Chen Jiucai's wife said that before he went missing, he had indeed mentioned going to work in another place, so she did not pay much attention when he first disappeared, thinking he had left to work away from home. On the afternoon of the 30th of March, Chen Jiucai went out and paid a visit to his sister's home. Several people saw him riding his motorcycle there, which took him about 30 minutes. His sister met him, and up to this point, Chen Jiucai's whereabouts were all confirmed. When he left, he told his sister he was going to have a drink, but he did not tell her whose home he was going to for the drink at that time. That night, his sister called him, and he was still drinking then. His speech was slurred, but his family just thought he had drunk too much. Chen Jiucai was a heavy drinker, and drinking was a common occurrence for him, so his family did not take it to heart at the time. Later, Chen Jiucai never returned home, and his wife called him, but no one answered, and the calls were even hung up. He still did not come home the next day, and his family called again. The phone was answered this time, but strangely no one spoke on the line. Chen Jiucai's wife thought he might have gone to work away from home and did not take action at first. He had mentioned going to work outside before, and he was an unreliable person who often went away for 10 or 15 days at a time. Such things had happened before. It was only after some time, when they could not reach him at all and the calls stopped going through, that Chen Jiucai's family began to sense something was wrong. Villagers did not have a good opinion of Chen Jiucai. He was fond of drinking and had a gambling habit, and he was involved in many financial disputes outside. Besides going to work away from home, he sometimes stayed away for days to avoid his death, so no one else paid attention to the matter at first. No one expected that Chen Jiucai would never come home this time. However, after Chen Jiucai went missing, the police investigated his financial disputes and found that he had paid off almost all his large debts. As for the small sums of money, he just refused to pay them back, thinking that such small debts would never lead to a life-threatening situation, which was probably what Chen Jiucai thought too. A villager from the same village was owed 900 yuan by Chen Jiucai, which was never repaid, and the two had a dispute over it. The villager was even injured, and naturally he could not swallow his anger, so he threatened to take revenge on Chen Jiucai. After an investigation, the police found that this person was not in the local area during the time of the incident and had no time to commit the crime, so his suspicion was ruled out. Some time later, Chen Jiucai's motorcycle was suddenly found. A neighbor also said that Chen Jiucai had parked it there on the afternoon of the 30th of March. The two exchanged a few words at that time, and Chen Jiucai also said he was going to have a drink just ahead. Going forward along this road was the home of a villager named Xu Jinquan. Xu Jinquan and Chen Jiucai had always been on good terms, so it was highly likely that Chen Jiucai had gone to Xu Jinquan's home for a drink that day. Later, Xu Jinquan's wife Lyu Yan confirmed this. Xu Jinquan also told the police that Chen Jiucai had indeed come to his home for a drink that day. The two were halfway through their drinks when Lyu Yan went out to play mahjong. In the end, Chen Jiucai was too drunk to ride his motorcycle home, so he called a taxi to go back. If this was true, the taxi driver would be the last person to see Chen Jiucai. The police found the taxi driver Chen Jiucai had called that day, but he said he had never picked up Chen Jiucai at all. Lyu Yan, Xu Jinquan's wife, provided a clue to the police. She had talked to Chen Jiucai on the phone on the 31st of March, and he still sounded drunk at that time. If Chen Jiucai really had this phone call on the 31st of March, it would mean he had left Xu Jinquan's home safely, which would rule out Xu Jinquan's suspicion. But if Chen Jiucai really left, why did Xu Jinquan's testimony not match the facts unless Lyu Yan had lied to protect her husband? Xu Jinquan and Chen Jiucai both worked in the construction industry, and they often partnered up for work. Later, they often drank and ate together, and their relationship gradually became close. Unlike Chen Jiucai, who was always getting into trouble, Xu Jinquan was the complete opposite. He had a mild temperament and never caused trouble, and villagers all had a good opinion of him. He even spoke in a soft voice, so in the eyes of most people, Xu Jinquan was a timid person, and it was hard to imagine he would be involved in any violent crime. After that, the police checked Chen Jiucai's call records and found that his calls with Lyu Yan were unusually frequent, which was clearly abnormal. The two also had multiple records of checking into hotels together. In fact, there had long been gossip about this in the village. Even Xu Jinquan's own family members knew about it. Xu Jinquan and Lyu Yan were both in their second marriage. They had remarried after getting divorced from their previous spouses, and they had been married for more than 15 years. Their relationship had not been good all these years, and it had become increasingly tense in recent years, with more and more troubles at home. The biggest problem was that Xu Jinquan's son from his first marriage had run up a huge amount of debt outside. A father is responsible for his son's debts. The son was unfilial, but he was still his own flesh and blood, so Xu Jinquan could not turn a blind eye to it. For this reason, all the money Xu Jinquan earned from working outside in recent years had been used to pay off his son's debts. A debt of more than 100,000 yuan was an enormous sum for such a rural family. Xu Jinquan worked hard to earn money outside, but the money was barely in his pocket before he had to use it to pay off his son's debts. Xu Jinquan's mother was a sensible woman. She knew about the family's difficulties, and although her daughter-in-law had an affair, she did not hold any resentment towards her. Instead, she could understand the depression Lyu Yan felt in this family. In rural families, men go out to work and earn money, while women take care of the household, children, and the elderly. This is the usual division of family labor. As a result, all the money the man earned was spent on his son from his first marriage, and Lyu Yan could not count on any of it, so it was inevitable for her to feel resentful. What was worse, this kind of life was not for a short time, but had lasted for several years, and it might continue like this in the future. There was no hope in life, and the accumulated resentment only grew stronger. Xu Jinquan himself felt guilty, so he never held his head up in front of Lyu Yan. Therefore, even though he noticed his wife's affairs, Xu Jinquan did not speak up about it. After that, the police conducted an investigation at Xu Jinquan's home and found obvious traces of whitewashing on the walls. This time coincided exactly with the time when Chen Jiucai went missing. The most likely explanation was to cover up the bloodstains after the murder. Xu Jinquan was only 1.7 meters tall, while Chen Jiucai was 1.8 meters tall. Xu Jinquan was very thin, but Chen Jiucai weighed nearly 200 jin. If it was a one-on-one fight, Xu Jinquan would definitely be no match for Chen Jiucai. If Chen Jiucai was sober, it would be an impossible task for Xu Jinquan to kill him by himself without alerting the people around. Unless Xu Jinquan used other means to make Chen Jiucai lose consciousness in advance. But Chen Jiucai was a heavy drinker with a high alcohol tolerance, so it was impossible for Xu Jinquan to get him drunk by just drinking with him. Unless Xu Jinquan had put something in his drink. After that, the police found the sales record of sleeping pills at a local pharmacy. The person who bought the sleeping pills admitted that Xu Jinquan had asked her to buy them for him, saying that his mother suffered from insomnia. It was surprisingly easy to buy sleeping pills in this place, as they should be strictly controlled in regular hospitals. By this time, Xu Jinquan's suspicion was basically confirmed. The most crucial thing was Chen Jiucai's body, because a murder case could only be established with a body. In criminal investigation, there is a saying that murderers bury the body nearby if the crime is committed close to home and dump it far away if it is committed far from home. After the crime, Xu Jinquan never left the local area, so the body must have been buried somewhere nearby. The police finally identified a hidden ditch by a river near Xu Jinquan's home as a possible location. Later, the police found a footprint on a piece of concrete. After a comparison, it matched exactly with a pair of shoes from Xu Jinquan's home. When they dug it up, they found a burned body. When the police scraped off the wall paint at Xu Jinquan's home, they found a large number of splattered bloodstains. The murder weapon was also found at the scene. The truth of the case finally came to light. Xu Jinquan chose to commit murder as a result of the long-term depression and grievance in his life. Knowing that he could not beat Chen Jiucai in a fight, Xu Jinquan had planned to drug him from the very beginning. The two often ate and drank together anyway, and Chen Jiucai was a heavy drinker, so it was easy for Xu Jinquan to ask him out for a drink. After confirming that Chen Jiucai would come, Xu Jinquan crushed 6 sleeping pills and put them in his drink. After a few drinks, Chen Jiucai started to feel drunk. Chen Jiucai was indeed a man with no moral character. He had no idea that someone had long held a grudge against him, and at such a time, he even dared to mock Xu Jinquan and intentionally provoke him. He really did not know that death was at his door. Xu Jinquan had already been filled with hatred, and this incident made him fly into a rage. He found an excuse to send his wife away and prepared to attack Chen Jiucai. By this time, Chen Jiucai was completely unconscious from drunkenness and had no ability to resist at all. After killing Chen Jiucai, Xu Jinquan deliberately made a call with his mobile phone to pretend that he was still alive. Just then, his wife Lyu Yan called to ask about the situation, so Xu Jinquan lowered his voice and pretended to be Chen Jiucai to talk to her. It was impossible to pretend perfectly, and Lyu Yan noticed something was wrong with the voice at that time. Xu Jinquan said it was because Chen Jiucai had drunk too much the day before. Although Lyu Yan thought something was wrong at that time, she did not pay much attention to it. After all, she could never have imagined that Chen Jiucai had already been killed. However, after Chen Jiucai went missing, Lyu Yan thought back to that strange phone call, and the more she thought about it, the more something felt off, until she finally realized that her husband might have done something terrible. Xu Jinquan knew he could not hide the truth any longer, so he told his wife the whole truth about the murder. But Lyu Yan did not call the police. Instead, she chose to help her husband cover it up. There was no genuine affection between Lyu Yan and Chen Jiucai. Their relationship was just a distortion of emotions caused by the depression of life. She knew clearly that this incident was largely caused by her extramarital affair, so she felt guilty towards Xu Jinquan. After the crime, Xu Jinquan's elderly father could not stand the shock and passed away. To compensate the victims, the family's only house was sold. Xu Jinquan's 70-year-old mother had to go live with her daughter. Lyu Yan could only fend for herself from then on. Chen Jiucai's son also dropped out of school to look after his mother. Xu Jinquan was finally sentenced to life imprisonment. The verdict was probably due to the emotional dispute and the compensation factors involved.